So let's we continue, right? Okay, so far we have looked through paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, and last week we were looking into this paper 4, which is listening, right? Okay, and we couldn't finish it, right? Okay, and I'm sure we will definitely try to finish it, right? Okay, not try, we will finish it this week, right? Okay, today. So starting from next session, it's all about, like all the papers where we will be focusing on the difficult sections, right? Okay, and answering your questions, regarding the tips and how to do that particular questions and so on, right? Maybe with more practices. The focus will be next week's session will be more on practices, right? Okay, and also like to see where you guys have problem and how to overcome that problem and everything, right? So before we do that next week, right? Okay, so we will finish this last paper, right, which is listening paper. So far we have done looking into this paper 1, reading and use of English, right? Okay, and I think we undoubtedly took I think more time, right? Okay, focusing on this writing paper, paper 2, right? Okay, as you all know, is very important, right? Okay, and we also took some time for speaking, right? Okay, surprisingly, a skill or paper that you all are kind of like worry a lot, right? Okay, um, because I do not know, right? Maybe you all have, some kind of reservation about this speaking, right? Okay, so we already done looking into that, right? Okay, now, right? Okay, starting from last week, right? We are looking into this listening, right? Okay, so like I mentioned last week, right? Itself, listening is a skill that is normally abandoned, right? Okay, in most of the schools, right? Okay, and they don't put a lot of emphasis on listening, right? Okay, you can say that it's kind of like a skill that has been ignored, right? Okay, maybe because they deem that like listening to be not that important, but actually let me tell you that listening is extremely important, because any skill, right? Okay, any skill will not be possible without listening, right? Okay, so listening is a very, very vital skill, right? Okay, so students normally, right? Okay, regardless of whatever exam it is, right? Okay, they normally have a lot of problems when it comes to listening, all right? Okay, so when it comes to what do you call this, listening for this SPM, right? Okay, so it is a good thing that like you guys have one advantage, right? Okay, so what is that one advantage? Like last week I already explained, right? So before we continue, all right, okay, I will explain, like we just do a short review on that also, right? Okay, so that you guys know, right? Okay, I do not know like how many of you were here last week, right? Okay, so I don't want you guys to be lost if I straight away, like continue from last week and you guys will be like lost, like what about this first part and everything, right? Okay, so far last week we only have finished with this, the first part. So in this listening paper, you have 4 parts, right? Okay, 4 parts. Okay, and we already look into the first part, right? Okay, which I said that is the most easiest one among all the 4 parts, right? Okay, and you all should right? Okay, should, right? Okay, I'm not gonna put the word must, but like you can say is something like that, right? Okay, because if you don't get this full marks, right? Okay, there will be 7 marks for you guys in this first part. There'll be 7 questions, right? And if you don't like score a full mark for this one, I'll be a little bit surprised, and it's not a good thing for you guys also, like I said, right? Okay, there are 4 parts there, and the second part, it's a little bit tricky, right? The third part, some students, they find it very easy. For some students, they may find it a little bit difficult, right? It depends on the individual, I guess, right? Okay, so later when we go through that part 3, you guys decide yourself whether you find it easier or you guys find it difficult, right? Like I say, you know, like teaching the students, you know, like so many students, you know, like I've come across where some students say that, wow, this is a piece of cake, right? Okay, for them, right? Okay, where some student saying that, wow, this is the hardest part ever, right? Okay, but actually, in my opinion, the hardest part of this listening paper will be part 4, right? Okay, um, it's really hard, right? Okay, you don't need to tell that, you know what, sir, it's kind of like very hard. I will tell beforehand that, you know, it's going to be hard, right? Okay, it's going to be hard. So we will try to look into it and we will see, you know, what we can do, right? Okay, what are the techniques that we can use and, you know, how to find the answer, right? Even though it's hard, right? Okay, it's not something impossible, right? Okay, so definitely we can find the answer, right? Okay, it will be hard though, right? It will be hard, but we will look into that, right? Okay, so just hold on, let me share. Okay, so we are looking into this paper 4, right? Okay, listening, like I said, I'm not so sure how many of you like listening, right? Okay, or maybe the chances of you guys liking you know, the listening very slim, because, you know, like I say, it's a skill that normally you know, it's not focused and most of the schools, right? Okay, so which is a kind of like sad thing, right? Okay, because they should focus on listening, because listening is very important, right? Okay, right, let's take a look at it, right? Okay, so the first part that we looked into last week, right? Okay, so just hold on. Okay, so this is the first part, right? Okay, this is the first part. So where you have 7 questions, right? You have 7 questions. Okay, you can take a look at the instruction. You will hear people talking in 7 different situations. For question 1 to 7, choose the correct answer, A, B, or C, right? Okay, fine. Now, class, you all have to understand what they mean by 7 different situations. As you can see, there are 7 questions, right? Okay, so this listening audio or extract you're going to listen, right? Okay, it will be question 1, situation 1. All right, there'll be one separate audio for question 1. So when you go to question 2, there will be a different audio for that, right? And when you go to question number 3, yeah, that's how it continues until question 7, right? Okay, so basically for one question, one audio, all right? Okay, one particular audio for that particular question, right? Okay, so that's why I told you guys that this is something that you should, right? Okay, get it correct. Okay, and you should not base your mark for this one, right? Okay, that is number 1. All right, okay, next, why I say that you guys have an advantage, all right? Okay, if you take a look at MUAT, Malaysian University English Test, if you look at Cambridge, right? Okay, if you look at IELTS, right? Okay, International English Language Testing System, right? Okay, all of them, they have this listening, right? Okay, paper, right? Okay, but they do not have this advantage of listening to it twice. Okay, so the meaning, you're going to listen to the audio twice. Okay, so this is where you have to, you know, like have a plan, right? Okay, strategies, right? Okay, and you have to follow the strategies in order to get all this correct. Okay, so like I say, among the 4 parts that you will find in your listening paper, right? Okay, this is the easiest part, right? Okay, and in total you have 30 questions. Okay, and the marks will be 30, right? Okay, but later it will be converted into 20. All right, okay, because you see, it will be converted into 20, right? Okay, so that one is a different story, but for now, right, all you need to know is, okay, 30 question, 30 marks. All right, okay, so if you're wondering what will be a kind of like safe zone, right? Okay, if we are talking about safe zone, right? Okay, see, we have to look at all the possibilities, right? Okay, we cannot be just like thinking that, oh no, we will do well, we will do, of course we will do well, but the thing is, like, we have to be realistic as well, right? Okay, So I'm a very realistic person, right? Okay, so I like to, like set ourselves a target so that we can work on that, right? Okay, even though sometimes the target may look like, like, oh, this is too easy, or maybe, but some of it may look not realistic, right? But we have to try, right? Okay, so that's why I'm saying, talking about the safe zone, right? Okay, you have 30 questions and you have 30 marks, right? Okay, if you guys somehow manage to get, right, okay, 15, right, and above, right, okay, let's say 16, 17, 18, whatsoever, right? Okay, you guys are safe, right? But right, if you're wondering what about 15, right, that is half of 30, right? Okay, is it okay? Well, normally when you get something off, okay, of course it's good, right? Okay, I'm not going to say it's not good, right? Okay, but when it comes to this one, right, I will tell you that it's better for you to get around somewhere around, like 18, right? Okay, 18, right? Okay, 18, 19, 20. If you can go more than 20, 21, that'll be better, right? Okay, but if you are talking about safe zone, I will set the target at around somewhere 18, right? Okay, 15 is just nice, but like I say, 18 will be the safe zone, right? Okay, so if you guys want to get that 18 marks, all right, okay, this part one, guys, girls, right? Okay, you have to get 7 out of 7. Wow, my God, that is kind of like so high standard, sir, right? Okay, well, no, because being the easiest part, right? Okay, and I'm sure if you guys focus, you guys follow the strategy, you guys have a plan, right? You guys are listening attentively, right? Okay, I'm sure you guys can nail on 7 marks for this part one. All right, okay. So, all right, okay, I don't want to go in detail like last week, right? Okay, I just want to do a little bit of review, right? So that you guys remember what we, like went through last week, right? Okay, so guys, when we talk about listening, right? Okay, so you must understand that there are not only one process that you guys need to do, right? Okay, there are more than one process are going on here, right? Okay, so the meaner, the part where you listen to that particular audio, yeah, you are listening, right? Okay, but just because you are listening attentively and you manage to memorize everything that you've listened, you're not going to get the marks, right? Okay, you must understand that you have to answer the question, right? Okay, so what I will say here is, you see, students normally tend to make mistakes because they think that, right? Okay, oh, I just listened at the first time, right? Okay, I read and I listen, right? Okay, and well, believe me, when you do that, like two process, okay, which is one is reading and try to understand the particular question and trying to look for the answer. At the same time, you are also listening, right? Okay, and you need to process the information that you have listened, right? Okay, well, when you want to combine that at the same time, right? Okay, it is not a good idea, right? Okay, it's a recipe for disaster, right? Believe me. Even though if you were to say that I'm a multitasker, I can do, like more than 3 things, right? Okay, I can listen, I can write, and I also can watch, and I can also sleep, or whatever it is, right? Okay, no. Even though you are very good at multitasking, but for this listening, right? Okay, please remember, this is what you should do, right? Okay, so again, just for the fact that I'm saying that you should do this, that doesn't necessarily mean that is something that you must do, right? Okay, again, I'm just giving you some tips, right? Okay, strategies, plans, right? Okay, so if you think that, oh yeah, that makes sense, like, oh yeah, maybe I should do this, right? Okay, then you follow, right? If you think that this is not your MO, right? Okay, this is not something that I will do, right? Okay, oh, I still prefer the traditional way of listening and reading, and like, oh, I can get the answer. That what you believe, then like, I'm not gonna stand in your way, right? Okay, so how I suggest you to do this, right? Okay, when I say that you have an advantage, okay, that advantage being, right, you will hear each recording twice. That is your advantage, right? Okay, so this is where you're going to play this out, right? Okay, the first time when you listen, okay, you just going to listen, but at the same time you're also going to focus on the question. All right, okay, so you're going to do gist listening, right? Okay, what is the gist listening? I mean, before they play the audio, they're going to give you around 20 seconds to look at the question. So I suggest you guys take a look at the question, right? Okay, and underline the keyword, right? Okay, why underline the keyword? Because later when you're going to listen, so that your mind, your eyes can easily focus on the particular word that you have underlined, and you can really connect to whatever you have listened in the audio. All right, if you do not narrow your specific word, keyword, right? Okay, when you listen, when you are looking at the question, you are looking at like a long question, and you're looking at three options, which are, if you look from that, right, okay, you can clearly see that they are long, right? Okay, so this is where you guys get caught, right? Okay, with this listening, right? Okay, so don't do that, right? Okay, to make your like task easier, just underline the keyword, right? Okay, how to do that if you're wondering, right? Okay, let's take a look at, okay, let's assume like they give you this 20 second, they will give you this 20 second to look at this particular question. And please remember, you are just going to underline the keyword very quickly, and you're not going to like take your own sweet time to read and understand the question. There is no need for that, right? Okay, because listening, end of the day, is all about you listening and like to the information, and you need to scan and skim. But of course, oh, here we don't have a text to do that, sir, right? Okay, which is something different with this reading, where we have a text where we can skim and we can scan and everything. Yeah, of course we can find the information and everything, but here the information is literally is going to your mind, right? Is through your ear, right? Okay, so it's very hard to restore, I mean, store all this what you call information in our head, right? Okay, so it's very difficult, right? Okay, so that's why I'm saying underline the keyword, right? Okay, example number one, uh, according to the announcer, one of the rules for story writing competition, okay, one of the rules, okay, that is the keyword, right? Okay, number two people are talking, okay, that's it, right? Okay, number three, what does the man think of football referees? Okay, football referees, okay, keyword. The students agree, okay, agree is the keyword. The podcast speaker is, right? So who is the podcast speaker, right? Okay, underline. Okay, the two friends concur. Let's say you don't have any idea what is concur, right? Okay, but you think that it has to do something with that, right? Okay, underline that. And there's also another thing about school website, right? Okay, underline that. What attracted the man to his job, right? So the keyword here is what. All right, okay, what. Okay, basically you're looking for a what, right? Okay, that's it. Once you have done all this, right, okay, then get yourself ready to listen to the audio, right? Get yourself ready to listen to the audio, right? Okay, so now the first time when you're listening, right, okay, you see there are three options there. As you all know, with the four option, right, okay, whether when you guys are doing your comprehension, right, okay, whatever it is, close gap, text, or whatever it is, right, okay, you guys should know by now that out of that four option, two option is totally ridiculous, right? Okay, that the two, one will be the real answer, another one will be something similar to the real answer, which is given just to confuse you, right? Okay, so that is when we are talking about four options, right? Okay, here in this case you are given three options, right? Okay, but the drill is still the same, right? Okay, out of the three, you all can be really certain that that one particular option will be totally not logical, right? Okay, not logical, right? Okay, so you have to eliminate that one particular right? Okay, illogical or irrelevant, right? Okay, option, right? Okay, once you're done with that, then you will have 2, right? Okay, the same concept with the 4 option. One is the real answer, another one is just a distraction given, right? Okay, so you have to do that, right? Okay, so the first time when you listen, right? Okay, you don't you don't confirm your answer, right? Okay, you must have some kind of suspicion. Let's say when you listen to the first question here, right? Okay, so you're listening, right? Okay, you have some kind of suspicion, right? Okay, that you think that the answer could be between B or C, right? Example, right? Okay, so you just tick that, that's it, right? Okay, so if you're wondering, so when we confirm our answer, when we do answer, right? Okay, well, the second time when you listen, that's when you confirm your answer, right? Okay, so listening is all about patience, right? Okay, you cannot jump into conclusion straight away, right? Okay, that is not how listening works, right? Okay, because you see, you may think that you would have listened everything, right? Okay, but the first time when you listen, like we have the tendency to to miss a lot of things, right? Okay, but we could have got a few gist of it. That's why I was asking you guys to do gist listening, right? Okay, gist listening is just to listen to few keywords. Why you're looking at the keyword? Because you have underlined the keywords of the question, all right? So you try to match the keyword to the keyword, right? Okay, so from based on that, then you guys try to make an assumption that the answer could be between B or C, right? Okay, so done. Then the second time you listen again, that's where you make a move where you confirm your answer. All right, okay. So students normally what they do is, like they do the both process both times. That means the first time when they listen, they'll be listening, at the same time they'll be reading the question and they try to find the answer. The second time also they will do the same thing. Then you see, if that's how you're going to do the listening, then you guys clearly don't have a plan and you're all going to fail, right? Okay, believe me, because you don't have a plan, right? So what I mention is, please have a plan. Please underline the keyword, listen for the gist, right, which is the keyword, right? Okay, then after that, the second time you confirm, right? So this is more a plan, right? Okay, which when you just listen, answer, just listen, read the question, that's not a plan, right? Okay, all right, now let's do this number 1, right? Okay, let's do this number 1, right? So that you guys get an idea, all right? Okay, let's do this together, right? Let's do this together, all right? Because like I say, I don't want to waste time, right? Okay, on this one, I just want to show you guys, how this part 1 is done, so that we can move on to part 2 and part 3. And we might need to spend more time on part 4. Like I said, part 4 being the hardest one, right? Okay, all right. So let's listen, right? Okay, just listen. So like I said, if you look at the first question there, right? Okay, if you have done what I have asked you guys to do the first, right? Underline the keyword, right? Okay, so the keyword here, one of the rules for story writing competition. So basically, you should be focusing on the rules. What are the one of the rules? So you see, if they say one of the rules here means, so out of A, B, C, they're only going to talk about the rules, right? Okay. And another thing, you see, this is something that students always, where they always make mistakes, where they think, right? Okay. Oh, they're not going to mention about A. They're not going to mention about B. They're not going to mention about C, right? Okay. That's where you're wrong. When it comes to listening audio, they will mention everything. They will mention everything. They will mention everything, right? Okay. That's why people ask you, when it comes to listening, you have to be very, very attentive, right? Because they will mention, but right, okay, what they mention and what they do not mention, that's where you have to be very careful. You see, you look at C there, participant must be at least 16 years old, right? Okay, you see, they may say the word, or 16 years old, so that doesn't mean that, they are saying that, oh, the participant must be less, they must be 16 years old, they may have said something else, like, okay, must be not least than 16 years old. Maybe they could have said that, but maybe you could have missed that word not least. You guys were focusing on that particular 16 years old. Oh, yeah, I heard, in the audio 16 years. Oh, I think the answer is C, right? Okay. So that's what I'm saying, right? Okay, you guys have to be really, really attentive, right? Okay, listening is not easy, right? Okay, but like I say, you guys have an advantage where you guys can listen twice, right? So please use that as your advantage and do not waste that advantage, right? Okay. All right, let's listen, right? Okay. The first time, right? Okay. After that, I will play the second time. Then you guys can, like think of what could be the answer and so on, right? Okay.
Part 1, Question 1. You will hear a woman talking about a short story competition.
We're looking for excellent short stories to feature in our monthly magazine. Send in your entry via email or post, and you may just be our lucky 3 prize winners. Unlike other competitions, you can submit as many pieces as you like. We do not impose any age limit. In fact, last month's winner was only 16.
Question 2.
Okay, guys. So I believe you have listened, right? Okay, you see, there are 3 options there. Email. Did you guys hear she talking about email? Yes. Did he talk about entries, right? More than 1 entries? Yes. Did she talk about 16 years old? Yes. All right. Okay. Like I said, this is where students tend to get confused, right? Because you see, hey, they talk about A, they talk about B, they talk about C. Oh my God, oh, this is a very tough one. How will you find to find? But yes, she did mention about all 3. But what are the things that she said there? That's what you guys should focus on, right? Okay. So based on what she said, all right, let's say you guys have some doubt, right? Let's say you guys have done, oh, I think right, the answer must be between B and C. Why? Because she say you can send your entry through post and email, but A only say email. So I'm canceling out A. Okay, fair enough, right? Okay, fair enough. So that's what I also listen, right? Okay. She say post or email. Here A only talk about email, right? Okay. So I heard 16. I heard that she can send more than 1 entry. So B and C look like a good answer, right? Okay, it has to be between B or C, right? Okay. So you already tick B and C, right? Okay. The second time when you listen, this is when you make your decision. Okay, this is when you make your decision. All right. Okay, whether the answer is B or C. Right. Okay, this time around you should ignore the part where she talk about email and post, because you already know that A is no longer no longer relevant, right? Okay, so now listen carefully and you decide whether the answer is B or C, right? Okay.
Competition.
We're looking for excellent short stories to feature in our monthly magazine. Send in your entry via email or post, and you may just be our lucky 3 prize winners. Unlike other competitions, you can submit as many pieces as you like. We do not impose any age limit. In fact, last month's winner was only 16.
Okay, guys. So now the second time, I believe you guys would have listened very properly, right? She said that you can send how many entries you want, right? So B being a very, very good answer. So what about C? What about the word that she said 16? She said that we do not impose any age limit, right? So I mean, did not means you do not have any age limit. So C is not logic lah, right? Okay. So from that, you guys can clearly know that the answer is B. All right. Okay. So this is how you guys, right? Okay, find the answer, right? Okay, find the answer, right? Okay. So again, like I say, you would have you would have find it very hard to find the answer if you guys did not highlight the keyword there, which is the rules, right? And you do not like cancel A, where you come to an, decision that, like it has to be between B or C, right? The second time when you listen, you see, the second time when you're a listener, you are not looking at the question, you are not looking at the question, because why you're not looking at the question? Because you already made your mind, you already have your choice. You think that it's between B or C, right? So why you need to look at C, right? Okay, why you need to look at the question, right? You can put all your focus into that particular, what do you call this, audio, right? Okay, so then you can easily know that, like, oh yeah, now I know, right? Okay, so if students, like the first time also they were focusing fully on the audio, the second time also they're focusing fully on the audio, because it is listening. And like traditionally people say, oh, you must listen to the audio. Yes, you must listen to the audio, but you see, listening to the audio is not going to give you the marks. Answering the question going to give you the marks, right? So that's what you must understand, right? It's not about, oh yeah, I managed to understand the listening, yeah, get me 10 marks. There's no such thing as that, right? Okay, so that's why you must have a plan where the first time around focus on the question, at the same time you listen. I'm not saying don't listen, you have to listen. You see, if you don't listen, how you were to find, like it has to be between B or C and everything. So, but just listening, that means just focus on the keyword, right? Just focus on the keyword, right? So you see, the first time when you hear, I hear a post on email, right? I hear multiple entries, I mean more than one entry, right? Okay, I hear 16 years old. So why I cancel A? Because you see, they say post and email. So I don't see the word post. So that's why I cancel A. So that's why I keep B and C, because I hear the word, more than one, right? Which is multiple. Then 16 years old, right? Okay. That's what I hear. So that's why I keep B and C, right? Okay. So this is the strategy that you guys should use to find the answer for part 1. All right. Okay. So I think we will just move on to part 2. All right. Okay. So guys, before we move to part 2, right? Okay. Anything that you all want to ask, right? Okay. Anything that you are still not clear about this part 1. Okay. Anything that you guys really need to clarify, you may do so now, right? Okay. Anything you guys would like to know, right? Okay. About this part 1. Clear, huh? Right? Okay, if you guys are clear, I'm happy, right? But if you guys are not, feel free, please feel free to just ask me, right? Okay, right? Okay, I take your word, right? All of you are saying clear, right? Okay, so that's the case. Then I think we move on to part, what do you call this, part 2 lah, right? Okay, all right, let's go to part 2. All right, okay, guys, kind of focus this one here, right? Okay, because as easier, right? Okay, part 1 is, right? Okay, but part 2, right? Okay, it's not that easy. And part 2 is the traditional listening, right? Traditional listening means, you see, part 1, you see, for one question you get one audio, right? Which is good, right? Okay, because you can simply focus, and yeah, it's good, right? It's good. You don't need to do a lot of things, right? But part 2 here, as you can see there, right? Okay, you have 8 questions, right? You have 8 questions here, right? Okay, and you don't, get one recording for one question. So that means here, this recording, there will be only one recording, right? This recording, right, okay, is for all this question until 8 to 15. So basically, this is where the listening part that students always find it very, very difficult, right? Okay, why? Because from my experience, right, okay, the audio will be in 12, question number 12. But you guys will be still in question number 8. Hey, why are they still not talking about 8? Oh, I've been waiting for so long. And you will be waiting, and that particular audio will be finished. All right. Okay. And the fact that you guys are lucky, because the audio will be played again for the second time. But for the other exam that I mentioned just now, They don't have that kind of luxury, and that's why most of them fail the listening exam. All right, okay, because for their listening exam they don't have this part one, where for one particular question, one audio. For their exam, everything is like this: only one audio, right? Okay, question number 8 until 15 based on that, right? Okay, so how to do this then, right? How to do this then? All right, okay, guys, girls, right? Okay, listen carefully. Yeah, you see, I told you for the part one, underline the keyword and so on. All right, good, right? Okay, this one, if you were to do that, good. All right, there's nothing wrong doing that, right? Nothing wrong doing that. Example, look, let's take a look at number 8 there, right? Why did the speaker ignore the pantai churn and cleanup post for the first time she saw it, right? Okay, you see, this one, if you want to find the keyword, can, but the problem with this one is there are more than one keyword, right? Okay, so that's why for you to even underline and just come up with a keyword for this one is not going to help you in any way, right? Okay, so what going to help you is, right, okay, you must understand that the audio, right, okay, it will begin with question number 8, right, okay, and it will move on to question number 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So the problem for student is when they do not keep in track with that particular listening audio, right? The mean, like what I said, sometimes the audio will be somewhere in question number 14 and you guys will be still in question number 10 thinking that, oh, I'm still waiting for them to talk about question number 10. That is the biggest mistake. Don't do that, right? So what I'm saying here is, let's assume, right, okay, you guys are in question number 8. Okay, you guys are following question number 8, you managed to get it. 9, you get it, right? Okay, 10, you get it. Suddenly 11, you didn't get it, right? You didn't get it. All right, okay, don't wait, right? You know that you didn't get 11, right? Okay, you know that some of they already went to 13, right? Okay, straight away go there, straight away go to 13, straight away go to 14, 15, right? Okay, because if you wait, right, you may say that, oh, I'm going to listen to the second time. So the second time when I listen, so that's the time that where I'm going to find the answer. No. Even that is not helpful also, guys, right? Okay, so what you guys must do is, you should not dwell on one question, waiting for it to come to you, right? Okay, so that's why you have to be very, very critical, right? Okay, you have to think very critically, right? Okay, these particular questions, and you do not expect the exact options that given as answers there, right, for you to hear, right? Okay, no way, right? Okay, no way, right? Okay, you're not going to hear that, right? Okay, but the only thing that you should know is, okay, hey, they're going to start the audio, right? Okay, question number 8 going to be the first, right? Okay, so you read the question number 8 very quickly, right? Read very quickly, right? Why did the speaker ignore the pantai churneng, right? Okay, ignore, right? Okay, or she ignore the first time she ignore, first time she ignore. That's the keyword you must keep there in your mind, right? Okay, because you know why? If you already underline the keyword and you think that you can do this like part one, then it's not going to work. It's not going to work, right? Okay, it's not going to work. So what I'm going to do now is, right? Okay, what I'm going to do now is, okay, I'm going to play this audio, right? Okay, one time, right? Again, I'm going to play this audio one time. Okay, so you guys listen carefully, right? At the same time, you guys just take down the answer. What do you think could be the answer? Number 8, number 9, number 10, number until number 15. All right, okay, so you just take down the answer. Okay, you guys, or just put it down there, maybe take a piece of paper, right? Okay, whatever it is, right? Okay, with you guys just write it down. Okay, number 8, right? Okay, you think, okay, A or B, right? Okay, so you just put that, or A or B, right? Okay, number 9, B or C, right? Number 10, B or A, right? Okay, or if you think that while you're listening, you think that you managed to get the correct answer. Oh yeah, hey, number 12, I'm hands-on, like sure that like it's going to be C, right? Okay, and then you write it down there, right? Okay, so once we done listening to the first time around, right? Okay, I will play the audio the second time, right? Okay, you guys confirm your answer, right? You guys confirm your answer, right? Okay. After that, I will explain, all right? We will do that, right? Okay, we will discuss the answer, right? Okay. The third time, all right, while we are playing the audio, we will discuss the answer, right? Okay. So you guys do that, right? Okay, I hope you guys understand, right? Okay. So I'm going to play the audio now, right? Okay, you guys just take a piece of paper, right? Keep it with you, guys. Listen. The same time, try to write down the answer for number 8, number 9, number 10, number 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, right? Okay. So if you guys are wondering, sir, what if you're not so sure about, like what being the answer? I mean, like, is it A, B, or, like number A, it could be A or B, or like B or C. Just write it down there, B or C. Number 9, A or C, right? Number 10, A or B, right? Okay, number 11, right? Okay, oh, you are sure. Oh, number 11, I'm sure. B is the answer, right? Okay, fine. Write it down, right? Okay. The second time when I play the audio, that's where when you confirm your doubt, right? Okay, when you say that, oh, number 8, I had this doubt, whether it's A or B, right? Okay, so you confirm your doubt, right? Okay, the second time, right? Okay, so once you guys are done with that, okay, the third time we will discuss the answer together, and I will tell you, like how to do that, right? Okay, so like what are the things that you should have focused, and like how you would have should have done, right? Okay, and everything I will explain everything, right? Okay, so guys, I can right? Okay, so I will start, right? So be ready. So just listen, right? Okay, again, last time, right? Okay, I just don't want you guys to get this wrong, that's why. So listen for the first time here, right? Okay, just try to write down your doubt, right? A or B, or if you are hands on, like you are sure, 100% sure, I believe this the answer for number 14 is A, right? Okay, then no problem. You can write it down, right? No problem, right? Okay. But the second time when I play the audio, that's when you do the confirmation, right? Okay. And the third time we will discuss the answer, and I'll explain how you should focus, and like what you should do when you miss one or two questions, which will obviously will happen. Okay, guys, right? Okay. Obviously normal in listening. You see, we are not a superhuman, we are not flash, like for us to always stay ahead of time and to be super fast to listen to everything, right? Okay, mistakes happen, we are humans, and like we humans make mistakes, right? Okay, so we may miss some things, and we you could be in number 9 where the audio could be in number 15, right? Okay, it all could happen, right? Okay, but I want you guys to do it so that only you will know, right? Okay, how to do this, right? Okay, all right. Okay, let me play the audio.
Part 2, questions 8 to 15. You will hear Amira talking about her experience participating in a beach cleanup.
Participating in a cleanup day is an easy way to do something good for the environment. A few weeks ago, when I saw the Pantai Chenang cleanup day on my social media feed, I simply scrolled down the page feeling annoyed with people who litter in the first place. Envisioning beachgoers tossing plastic bags and aluminum cans into the distance infuriated me. I was convinced that they were the root cause that needed to be dealt with. After fuming for a day or so, I realized that I was not as powerless as I'd thought, and that I could do something about the situation, so I signed up for the Pantai Chenang cleanup event that weekend. I even managed to persuade my family to come along. When Saturday rolled around, we made our way to the coast by car. My family was in high spirits as we sang along to the radio. Arriving promptly at 7:45, we slathered on sunscreen, grabbed some gloves and a plastic pail each before meeting the other side volunteers. There were around 30 of us that day. A short briefing was given, and it turned out that we were not only going to be picking up trash, but also analyzing the different types of rubbish found on the beach through a survey form. As the youngest in our family, my 8-year-old brother was put in charge of putting the tick marks on the sheet as the rest of us filled our pails with litter. Every once in a while, someone would exclaim that they had found a frisbee, designer sunglasses, and even a weather-beaten storybook. One man's trash is another man's treasure, they say, but my mother insisted we should be honest and take all valuable items to the nearby resort. At the end of 3 hours, we had covered our self-assigned section of the beach and filled 4 pails with trash. The most common litter items were styrofoam containers, plastic cups, and cigarette butts. The site volunteer who collected our form thanked us for our hard work, and we took a group photograph with everyone who showed up. I was glad we participated in the cleanup event, as leaving behind a trash-free beach gave me a sense of accomplishment. People who litter still tick me off, but now I know I can empower myself to do something about it, and so can you.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I believe that you guys would have, got your answers. I know. Like I say, while you guys were listening, like there would have been a situation where, she was somewhere, like in the question 12 and 13, you guys were wondering, right? where where is she, right? Okay, this kind of thing always happen in this kind of listening part, right? Okay, so you see, this is the most common listening, like exercise, right? Okay, where one audio where you have to cover around, like 8 questions, or even in our cases, like last time, that more 10 questions, right? Okay, so it's easily for us to get lost, right? Okay, and moreover, all right, okay, if you guys are looking for the answer, the straight answer, right? Okay, you're not gonna get it, right? Okay, that mean, so what I mean here mean, right? Okay, so they may have say few keywords, right? But they're not going to tell you the entire sentence. So this is where you have to think critically, like I say, you have to think critically, right? Why I say think critically? Because you have to think critically, because you have to think, right? This is what they're trying to say. So that's why the first thing that I asked you guys to do was forget about whatever, like the question and everything, right? But what you need to do is you need to come up with a guess, right? Okay, for number 8, right? I believe the answer should be between B or C, right? Okay, it could be between number 9 could be between A and C, right? Number 10 could be between B or C, right? Okay, why you do that? So that the next time, right, the next time when you focus, right, okay, you could focus on that 2 things, right? Okay, then you will definitely find you definitely will find the answer, right? Definitely find the answer. But importantly, when you listen to the second time, right, okay, you must also understand that this is your last chance, right? You're not going to get any more chance after this to listen to the audio, right? Okay, and you have to make a full use of it, right? Okay, so you have to get the answer. And if you're wondering, for the first time when you listen, maybe you were like I say, like maybe the question is in still 11, right? Okay, you guys are still waiting for number 11, but later you realize that they already like end, right? Oh my god, it already finished already. Oh my god, like that kind of thing can happen. And make sure you do, like it does not repeat again, right? I mean, the second time around, don't let it happen again, right? Okay, because um then it would be very difficult for you to decide the answer, right? That's what I'm saying, right? Okay, so this time you have to be very careful. The second time you have to be very careful. First time maybe you are focusing on the question and also the audio, right? Okay, the second time, like what I said for the part 1, this one for everything also similar, right? Okay, first time, all right, okay, the question and also the audio. Second time, only the focus on the audio, right? The question is no longer irrelevant because you already come up with the choices. So it's just the second one is all about confirmation, right? Okay, so I believe you guys would have taken down and everything, right? Okay, now let's confirm your answer, right? Confirm your answer. right? Okay, I'll play the audio again, right? Okay, listen again carefully, confirm your answer, right? Okay, then once we are done with this one, then we will do it together. We will discuss the answer. Then after that, we will move to the third part, right? Okay. Okay, so I'll play the audio again. Just hold on.
Part 2, Questions 8 to 15. You will hear Amira talking about her experience participating in a beach cleanup.
Participating in a cleanup day is an easy way to do something good for the environment. A few weeks ago, when I saw the Pantai Chenang cleanup day on my social media feed, I simply scrolled down the page feeling annoyed with people who litter in the first place. Envisioning beachgoers tossing plastic bags and aluminum cans into the distance infuriated me. I was convinced that they were the root cause that needed to be dealt with. After fuming for a day or so, I realized that I was not as powerless as I'd thought and that I could do something about the situation, so I signed up for the Pantai Chenang cleanup event that weekend. I even managed to persuade my family to come along. When Saturday rolled around, we made our way to the coast by car. My family was in high spirits as we sang along to the radio. Arriving promptly at 7:45, we slathered on sunscreen, grabbed some gloves and a plastic pail each before meeting the other side volunteers. There were around 30 of us that day. A short briefing was given, and it turned out that we were not only going to be picking up trash, but also analyzing the different types of rubbish found on the beach through a survey form. As the youngest in our family, my 8-year-old brother was put in charge of putting the tick marks on the sheet as the rest of us filled our pails with litter. Every once in a while, someone would exclaim that they had found a frisbee, designer sunglasses, and even a weather-beaten storybook. One man's trash is another man's treasure, they say, but my mother insisted we should be honest and take all valuable items to the nearby resort. At the end of 3 hours, we had covered our self-assigned section of the beach and filled 4 pails with trash. The most common litter items were styrofoam containers, plastic cups, and cigarette butts. The site volunteer who collected our form thanked us for our hard work, and we took a group photograph with everyone who showed up. I was glad we participated in the cleanup event, as leaving behind a trash-free beach gave me a sense of accomplishment. People who litter still tick me off, but now I know I can empower myself to do something about it, and so can you.
Right. Okay. So I hope you guys have made the confirmation of your answers, right? Okay. So now let's discuss and we do it together, right? Okay. And you can see, right, how we can find the answer, right? Okay. What are the strategies that I'm using, which I will also ask you guys to follow, right? Okay. If you want to, right? Okay. No forcing or anything, right? Okay. Because like I say, like by now you guys are at the age where you all can do things independently, right? Okay, but it's just that all you need is some guidance, right? Okay, but sometimes some students they like to do things on their own, right? Okay, even though they get some suggestion from others, they may not compromise with like whatever they know and how they've been doing something, right? Okay, example, right? Okay, I always tell my students, like when it comes to comprehension, do not waste your time by reading the text, right? Okay, but some of them still they cannot accept that. They will say that how to do this comprehension without reading the text. I've been telling them, we are living in the 21st century and there's no need for us to read the text, right? Our focus should be on the question, but like some of them, they still find it very hard to accept that, right? Okay, so like I say, maybe they are used to certain things, right? Okay, for them it's already embedded in their mind, that actually, oh, reading comprehension, you have to read and you have to answer, something like that, right? Okay, so that's what I'm telling to you guys, right? Okay, you may have your own way to do things. What I'm doing here is all about suggestion, right? Okay, if you think that, yeah, this will work, right? Okay, then you can take it. If you think that, this is not going to work, right? Okay, no problem. There's no pressure, no need to follow, right? Okay, all right. Take a look at this one, right? Okay, so before you read, before you listen, right? Okay, like I say, you're always given 20 seconds, right? Okay, so you take a look at the question there, right? Okay, so you see, eventually in between, the listening, also you can listen, right? You can read that particular question. It's not necessarily that you have to do it within that 20-second, right? Okay, like I said, right? Okay, so this is why part 2 is a little bit different from part 1, right? Part 1, like, because each of the question has its own, like recording, right? That's a different story, but this one is not like that, right? Okay, so that's why I'm saying that do not waste your time by, like taking a time and reading the question, because in the end, you will be left, right? But the recording will never stop for anyone. The recording will be like playing, right? Okay, so that's why you have to keep up with the recording, the audio, right? Okay, all right. Now let's take a look at question number 8, right? Okay, why did the speaker ignore the pantai churning cleanup day post at the first time she saw it, right? Okay, first time she saw it, right? So that's the keyword there, right? Okay, so listen,
Part 2, questions 8 to 15. You will hear Amira talking about her experience participating in a beach cleanup.
Participating in a cleanup day is an easy way to do something good for the environment. A few weeks ago, when I saw the Pantai Chenang cleanup day on my social media feed, I simply scrolled down the page feeling annoyed with people who litter in the first place.
okay, guys, you see why I stopped here, right? Because you see, the question asks first time she saw it, and she said that the first time when I saw it, I scrolled on because with the people litter, right? Okay, so the key word is the litter, right? Okay, you see, you might have heard that she talking about, plastic bags and aluminum cans and everything, but you see, those were just distraction. And the fact that she didn't say that it were difficult to pick up, she didn't say that, right? Okay, so the first thing here, right? Okay, what she mentioned, did she mention about littering, or did she mention about plastic bag and aluminum can? And why this is relevant? Because the question is talking about the first time she saw it, right? The first time she saw it, right? Okay, so that's why I will go with C. And you know what, right? Okay, the answer is C, right? Okay, so if anyone has all right, okay, I mean chosen what C as answer, okay, good, well done, right? Okay, you guys managed to get it right. Okay, so please remember, right? Okay, when it comes to listening, you cannot overthink, right? You cannot overthink. Oh, she mentioned about plastic man. No. The question was about the first time she saw it. She said that she scrolled on because she's worried about, she's annoyed about littering, right? Litter, people litter, right? Okay, that's the thing. That's the keyword and that's the answer. That's it, right? Okay, then you just move on to number 9. What motivated the speaker to eventually sign up for the cleanup event? All right, okay. So first she was not interested, then what made her to do that, right? Okay, what made her to do that, right? Okay, and another thing I will tell you guys later, right? Okay, so we continue, right? Later I will tell you, right? Okay, this is also something very important, right? Okay, for students who unable to find the answer, then what else they can do, right? We cannot just simply don't, like, you just cannot just leave it without giving any answer, isn't it, right? Okay, So how to check, how to choose the answer then, right? Okay, I'll explain that to you, right? Okay, now for now, all right, number 8, we already got the answer, right? Okay, let's continue. All right, okay, you keep track, right? Okay, so you see, this is where you keep track. You see, the first thing she already said, like what she talked about, that's it, right? Okay, then after that, the next one, like what motivated her, why, she, in the end, she signed up for the cleanup event, right? Okay, so what motivated her, right? Okay, that's what you should focus on. Next.
Envisioning beachgoers tossing plastic bags and aluminum cans into the distance infuriated me. I was convinced that they were the root cause that needed to be dealt with. After fuming for a day or so, I realized that I was not as powerless as I'd thought and that I could do something about the situation, so I signed up for the Pantai Chenang cleanup event that weekend. I even managed to persuade my
Okay, right? Okay, so here, number 9 here, right? Okay, number 9 here, right? What motivated, right? Okay, so you have 3 options here, right? Okay, she could gain some power and prestige. She didn't say anything there, right? Okay, bye-bye, right? Okay, A, cancel, right? Okay, so it has to be between B and C, right? If you guys listen further, right, to the conversation, right? Okay, to the, what do you call, the audio there, right? Okay, you will hear that she mentioned about a family, right? Okay, so actually she's the one who asked the family to join, but not like what is suggested by the option C here, right? Okay, the family had convinced her to join up the cleanup campaigns, which is totally not the case. So you cancel C, you cancel A, right? Okay, then what you have, right? You have B, right? Even though but I did not hear anything about, she say anything about solution. Doesn't matter, that's the answer. That's it, right? Like I say, right? Okay. And another thing that, like I would like to tell you guys. Let's say, you guys already listen to the answer. I mean, listen to the audio twice, and you couldn't figure out what is the answer for number 9. Okay, you couldn't figure out what is the, like answer for number 9, right? Okay. So you could have think logically, I mean, she could gain some power and prestige. Does it look logic? She's not doing it for that, right? Okay, so you can take out A, right? Okay, a family had convinced her to join up the cleanup campaign, and this is where you have to think that, from what you heard, that she is the one who are listening about this particular, what do you call this, the advertisement. So the family got nothing to do with it. So how can the family out of nowhere, out of the blue, can come and ask her, hey, come and join her? It doesn't make any sense. So you take out C. So that leaves you with the option B, and you choose B. All right. Okay. So what I'm trying to say here, guys, even if you miss that particular listening, right? Okay. Sometimes don't just leave it, without writing any answer, right? Okay. What I'm saying here is, you have to think critically. You have to come up with, like from whatever you listen. You see, the fact that you listen to that particular audio twice, that should definitely give you some kind of idea what they were talking about, right? Okay, so from that you can, come up with some guesses, what could be the answer is about, right? Okay, so that's what I'm saying, because some students, they tend to just leave, like the question, empty, because they think, oh, I don't know the answer, so why I need to answer the answer. Hey guys, sometimes, when you think critically and you think about it and you come up with the answer B, in this case, let's say I do not know the answer, right? But I'm looking at A. She could gain some power and prestige. It doesn't make any sense, right? She realized that the solution was not beyond her control. So she said that she can do something. So she can do something. Maybe there's a solution. Okay, B, you keep. C, a family had convinced A. She's the one who saw the advertisement. How can the family can come and convince her? Okay, take out C. So let's say you go for B. You know what? Maybe it could be a lucky guess, but you know what? You are lucky because that's the answer, isn't it? So that's what I'm saying. It's better for you guys to write something, choose something, think about it, right? Give any answer rather than just leave it empty, right? Okay, something that students always do in part 4 also, right? Okay, teacher, what is part 4? We will get to part 4 in a while, right? Okay, so so that is number 9. Number 9 is B, right? Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue, right? We continue.
family to come along. When Saturday rolled around, we made our way to the coast by car. My family was in high spirits as we sang along to the radio. Arriving promptly at quarter.
Okay, so you look at number 10, right? Okay, so number 10, guys, can you just share me what answer you guys got for number 10? What evidence support for a family eagerness to join the beach cleanup? Yeah, well done. Very good, right? Okay, very good, right? Okay, you see here, they can confuse you by saying that, they even mention something that exactly given in the option, which is they arrive promptly at their destination, isn't it? Right? Okay, but you see, what is the evidence supports that, their family is eager to join her for the cleanup, right? Is it they arrive promptly, they drove a long distance? Is that suggest that they support? No. So A, correct, right? A suggests that, right? Okay, they were singing in the car, like, okay, to the radio, listening to the radio. So that shows that they're in a high spirits. And that also indirectly shows that they are really, really, eager to join the cleanup and to, to be there for this particular person, right? Okay, all right. So number 11 should be very easy, right? Number 11 should be very easy, right? Okay. So anyway, we just listen.
To 8, we slathered on sunscreen, grabbed some gloves and a plastic pail each before meeting the other side volunteers. There were around 30 of us that day.
Okay, so number 11 should be very, very clear, right? Okay, and they already mentioned that, right? Okay, how many volunteers had showed up at the beach? Fewer than 13, right? Okay, you see, C is not logic, right? Okay, it has to be 30 and 13, right? Okay, so sometimes, you see, they are very clever. You see, why they could have gone for another number. Why they come out with the number 13? You know why? Just to confuse you guys. Just to confuse you guys. Because you know why? 30, 13 sound the same, isn't it? Right? Okay. So this is where you guys should have listened carefully. She mentioned 30, right? Okay, not 13, right? Okay, 30, not 13, right? Okay. All right, let's take a look at number 12, which is true about briefing given, right? Okay, so what is true here, right? What is true here, right? Okay, and like I say, they will mention something similar there, whatever you hear there, but you have to be very, very careful, right? Okay, so we listen, then after that, we see what could be the answer.
A short briefing was given, and it turned out that we were not only going to be picking up trash, but also analyzing the different types of rubbish found on the beach through a survey form. As the youngest,
Okay, so what do you think number 12 is, guys? What do you think will be the number 12? It looks a little bit confusing, right? I just want to see whether you guys got it or not, right? Okay, what do you think? Number 12, which is true about the briefing given? Yep, good, well done. All right, okay, Azizi with a question mark, right? Okay, be confident, Azizi, right? You got it correct, right? So why the question mark for, right? Okay, so you see, she said that it turns out that, okay, we don't need to only about cleaning up, we also need to do some other thing, right? Okay, so if that's the briefing about, right? Okay, does B and C make any logic, right, to you guys? No. B, the site volunteers were advised to put on sunscreen. Hey, come on, it doesn't make even sense, right? Okay, they were talking about collecting the rubbish, like, and doing that, and everything, right? Okay, separating the rubbish and everything. And they also said that about, survey, right? Okay, but here, the survey form should be assigned to the youngest group member. No. They were not talking about that. The briefing is about, like, what are the other tasks? What are the other work that you have to do, right? So that's why the answer is A, right? So well done. You guys got it, right? Okay, I'm happy about that, right? Okay, now let's continue. Why did the family go to the nearest resort, right? Okay, this one should be very easy as well.
in our family, my 8-year-old brother was put in charge of putting the tick marks on the sheet as the rest of us filled our pails with litter. Every once in a while, someone would exclaim that they had found a frisbee, designer sunglasses, and even a weather-beaten storybook. One man's trash is another man's treasure, they say, but my mother insisted we should be honest and take all valuable items to the nearby resort. At the end of 3
Okay, so number 13, guys, I think number 13 also should be very easy, very direct, straightforward, right? Okay, why did the family go to the nearest resort? Because, right, okay, C, you can rule it out, right? Okay, to inform of their patterns, littering behavior, no, right? Okay, they were talking about some valuables, right? Okay, so A, you have valuables, B, you have items. So is it A or B? All right, the answer has to be between A or B, right? Okay, so what do you guys think, right? What you guys have come up with? Yeah, right, well done, right? Okay, good, right? So she did mention that, the mother, say that, to return, right? Okay, you cannot keep, and A is not logic, to sell some valuables found on the beach, right? Okay, so people could have lost that, like how can you take that and you can go and sell, right? Okay, that doesn't make any sense, right? Okay, so how did the family end their beach cleanup activity, right? Okay, so let's continue.
hours, we had covered our self-assigned section of the beach and filled 4 pails with trash. The most common litter items were styrofoam containers, plastic cups, and cigarette butts. The site volunteer who collected our form thanked us for our hard work, and we took a group photograph with everyone who showed up. I was glad we participated.
Okay, so now 14, how did the family end up their beach cleaning activity? So the meaner, A, by counting the number, they didn't mention anything like that. So A, you can take out, right? Okay, so B, thanking, yeah, there was one word there, you hear thanking, right? Okay, C, participating in a photo session, you see that also was there, right? So now between B and C, which one you think will be the answer? Yeah, correct. Okay, correct. Yes, correct. Okay, good, well done. So you see why if you're wondering, so why cannot be B? Because she did mention about, like they were thanking up, right? Okay, you see, they were not thanking the volunteers for showing up, they're thanking the volunteers for cleaning up, for doing all the hard work, right? Okay, so that's why B cannot be taken into consideration, and the fact that they all took a photo session, so that's why C is a more accurate and a better answer, right? Okay, good. All right, so the last one, right? What was the speaker's concluding message to the listener, right? Okay, so the meaner, let's say you did not get this one, right? Okay, this one, there are some questions that you do not need to listen in order to find the answer. All right, okay, so what do you think? Let's say, let's say we're not going to listen to this particular audio, right? Okay, so what do you think will be the answer for number 15? What was the speaker's concluding message to the listeners, right? Okay, she was talking about, like cleaning up and everything. So is she going to say that do not litter, right? Okay, maybe, right? Accomplish something today, do your part for the environment. Which one look like a message? Of course, right? Okay, C looks like a message compared to, right? Okay, A could be a mess. A is not a message, A is more like a prohibition, right? Okay, don't do that. Hey, you don't do that, something like that, right? Okay, so B, accomplish something today, is something like you have to do, right? Okay, so C is, like it's a message. Hey, do your part, love, for the environment. Everybody must do their part for the environment, right? Okay. So guys, so we are done with part 2, right? I know it may look difficult, but like I say, if you guys follow what do you call that, if you guys follow the what do you call the strategies, the plan, then it's not that difficult, right? Okay, like I say, the most important thing for this part 2 is do not lose the track, right? Okay. You see, they are somewhere, you are somewhere. And if that happens, normally it does not end well, right? Okay. It does not end well for you, right? Okay. So that's what I'm saying, right? Okay. So still, this is not that tough, right? Okay. So if you're wondering, out of 8 questions, 8 marks, how much you should get, if you guys can get 4 out of 8, right? Okay. I think that you will be considered, right? Okay, good, right? Okay. If you can get 8 out of 8, that is fantastic, right? Okay. 5 or 6 out of 8, that'll be a good effort, right? Okay. So my suggestion is, if you were to be safe zone and you want to, thinking about the target for this particular part 2, I will say that, well, out of 8 questions, if you get 4, that's good, right? Okay, that's good, right? So we're gonna move to part 3, right? Okay, part 3 will be very, very simple, very quick, right? Okay, because I would like to spend a little bit time on part 4, right? Okay, so guys, any question on part 2 before we go to part 3? Anything that you guys are not so sure about part 2 here, right? Okay, it should be very easy. I mean, like this is just one audio, and you have to answer from question 8 until 15. That's it, right? Okay, so like I said, the first time, right, you just come up with, like the possible choices, right? Okay, second time you listen, you make the confirmation, right? Okay, then I'm sure you guys can get it done, right? Okay, anything guys? Nothing, huh? Right? Okay, so I assume that we can move on to the third part, right? Okay. All right. So this is the third part. Like I mentioned before this, right? Okay. Some students say that, like, oh, this is very easy. And most of them, they always get it correct. Okay. Some students, they say that they find it very difficult, right? Okay. If you ask my opinion, I will say this is very easy, right? Part 3, you should, you should get this correct, right? Okay. You should get this correct. And there's only 5 questions, and there's a high chance of you guys getting 5 marks, right? Okay. And if you guys get any wrong, like, don't make sure don't get more than 1, right? Okay, 1 is still, I think, can be forgiven, I guess, but more than 1, I think it's nothing. I mean, you guys just wasting your mark, that's it, right? Okay. So because you see, considering the part 4 being the very difficult, right? Okay, so the more marks you can get from all these other 3 parts, right? Okay, of course, is welcome, right? Okay, right, now let's take a look at this one, right? Okay, you will hear 5 short extract in which people talk about the business they run. For question 16 to 20, choose from the list A to G. Okay, what each speaker says, use the letter only once, right? There are 2 extra letter, right? Okay, you see, just give you 2 extra letter to confuse you, right? Okay, so how to find this one? Okay, guys, keyword is everything for this one, right? Okay, so if you do not know what I mean, right? Okay, let's listen and we can do this, then you guys will know, right, what I'm talking about here, right? Okay, just hold on, huh?
Part 3, Questions 16 to 20. You will hear 5 short extracts in which people talk about the businesses they run. Speaker 1. I never dreamed it would expand so fast. I started out with just a small collection, mostly fiction, biographies, and travel guides. Then people started coming in to trade what they had already read, and the business really took off. We now run 2 shops in Johor Bahru. Speaker 2.
Okay, guys, so before we go to speaker 2, right? Okay, so you see here, speaker 1, what are the things that you guys managed to get, right? Okay, from what he was saying, you see, he was talking about shop, right? Okay, he was talking about shop. So from that, you can narrow down your search, right? Okay, so shop, F, computer shop, C, antique shop, A, second-hand bookshop, right? Okay, so there has to be between this A, C, or F, right? Okay, the next one, what I heard was fiction, the word fiction, right? Okay, well, guys, fiction, can you hear fiction in antique shop? Can you hear fiction? Is fiction related to antique shop? Is fiction related to computer shop? Of course, no, right? Okay, so fiction is about a story, lah. Story, bookshop, okay, bookshop, yeah, book story, yeah, right, done. That's it. Okay, so you guys can easily know that the answer for speaker one, right? Okay, is A, right? Okay, bookshop. And once you've done that, you cancel A also, because you don't want to get distracted, right? Okay, when you are looking for the others. All right. Okay, so now let's continue, right? Okay, so like I say, guys, focus on the keyword. Focus on the keyword. Like I say, I focus on the fiction. All right, why I focus on the fiction? Because I know. And I also focus on the word shop, right? He said that we're going to start another shop, right? Okay, so that's how I do this. All right. Okay, all right, now let's continue. All right, okay, you guys listen, and I will ask you guys what could be the answer.
I had been working for a big computer firm, but have always enjoyed collecting old things. What makes my current venture really special is the look on customers' faces when you say, that old vase you have there is worth $500,000.
Okay, so now I know that you guys heard that, like he mentioned about computer. So definitely your focus will be on F, right? Okay. But he also mentioned that, he talk about old things. Old things mean there is only, one option that you can talk about old things, which is C, an antique shop. Right now, you already know that, like it has to be between C and F, because they didn't mention anything. They mentioned computer and they mentioned all things. That's it, right? Okay. So what do you think will be the answer? C or F? What do you guys think? Why you choose F? Because he mentioned, like computer, but at the same time, he also mentioned, like old things and everything, right? Okay. So that's why we go for C. So why we go for C, guys, right? The answer is C. You know why? Right? Okay. Some of you may ask, teacher, why cannot be, like A? If he's talking about a computer shop, right? Okay, of course, he mentioned computer, but he didn't say anything to do with computer, right? Okay. Apart from mentioning the first time the computer, then he didn't say anything about, oh, I sell old computer, I don't sell a new computer, He should be focused on the computer one. He's not talking about the computer. So that shows that he's not talking about the computer, then we are talking about the antique shop, right? Okay, so that's how you get the answer for this one, right? Okay, now let's go to number 18, speaker 3, right? Okay, so listen carefully and try to guess what you think we are talking about. So we already can cross out A and C from the list, right? We are looking at B, D, E, F, and G, right?
Speaker 3. Times have changed and the internet's been a great help. Unlike the old days, I don't have to dig through brochures and call the airline every 2 minutes. Anyone can browse the packages we offer on our website and book online if they wish.
Okay, guys, all right. Okay, number 18. I'm sure you guys should get a very clear picture, because I think they could not be more clear than that, right? Okay, what do you think is the answer for number 18? Speaker 3 is talking about what actually? What business is talking about? Guys, anything? Anybody got it? Or you guys didn't get it? Yes, guys, anything? Right, 18, right? Okay, or you all didn't hear that, right? Okay, So he was talking about, like, of course, he was talking about internet, right? Okay, obviously, like the first instinct is for us to go to computer shop again. But after that, he was talking about booking, you can book, airlines. So when you talk about airlines, when you talk about booking and everything, right? Okay, yeah, well done, right? Okay. So it's still not computer shop, because you see, computer shop, you must talk about computer, you not talk about bookings and airlines and everything. So that shows that he's talking about, right? Okay, the airline. I mean, the airline mean travel agency lah, right? Okay, well done. Okay, thank you, Natasha. Right. Okay, now let's go to number 19. Right. So you can cross out A, C, and E. So the answer is between B, what do you call, D, F, and G. Right. Okay. So we have two more to go.
Speaker 4.
It is a huge responsibility to ensure the machines are in good order, as you don't want any accidents on your premise. But my main job is really to hire the right people to train and interact with our customers who ultimately want to get into shape.
Okay, right. Number 19 also should be very easy if I'm not mistaken, lah, right? Okay. Talking about the mission, talking about helping the customers get into a shape, right? Shape, B, are you sure? Driving Academy, right? Get into shape. Shape means, like which one. And in driving academy, you don't have a machine word. I mean, is car can be considered as machine? Yeah, correct. Okay, so no problem, no worries. Okay, maybe you misheard that, right? Okay, he was talking about helping the customers to get into shape, right? Okay, and cars are not, like machines. I mean, you can call them machine, but basically gymnasium, right? Okay, they're talking about gymnasium. Yeah, right. Okay. All right. So basically now we already cross out A, C, E, and D, right? So the answer, right, the last answer for 20 should be between B, F, and a G, right? Okay. So listen carefully.
Speaker 5. Ours is a family run venture that my dad had started in the 70s. Although I am the eldest son, there was no expectation for me to take over the business, but I got interested in fast moving consumer goods by watching my dad interact with shoppers. The rest, as they say, is history.
Okay. So now looking at the remaining option, you have B, a driving academy, you have F, computer shop, and you have G, a convenience store. So what do you think number 20 will be? Yeah, right. Okay. Because if it's going to be a driving academy, it has to be something to do with driving. They should have mentioned anything to do with driving, right? They didn't mention. Okay, you can take out that. And again, a computer shop, but you did not mention anything about computer shop. So there's no logic. So it has to be convenience store, right? Okay, it's a business where it's been passed on from family to family, right? From generation to generation, right? Okay. So that's why the answer is, right, G. Okay. So guys, like I say, part 3, right? Okay. I don't know, you guys will say, whether you guys will say it's easy or hard. I'm not so sure, because like I said, there are two types of students here when it comes to part 3. Some of them will say that, oh, it's hard. Some of them will say, wow, this is very easy, right? Okay. If you ask me, I will say this is very easy as well, right? Okay. Because all you need to do is just need to remember the keyword. Then you get the keyword, you have to think critically, of course, then I'm sure you guys can get the answer, right? Okay. So part 3 should not be that problem, right? Okay. So I do expect you guys to get 5 out of 5, right? Okay. All right, guys. Right. Okay. I'm sorry the time is almost up, but I just hope you guys can just bear with me for a while, right? Okay. Just we look at the last part, right? Okay, because I don't want to drag this to next week, right? Okay, because I think we better finish it, right? Okay. Now let's take a look at part 4. So why I say part 4 is the most difficult one, right? Okay. And this is where the listening part, this is the type of question, right? When it comes to listening, the students do not like. and they find it very, very hard, right? Why? Example, you look at that, you will hear organization direction Melissa speaking about media literacy among young people. For question 21 to 30, fill in the missing information in each numbered space, right? Okay. Use no more than one word for each space, right? Okay. So you must understand that the answer should not be more than one word, right? So basically you're looking for one word, and you will hear this in the text, right? But the problem is students find it very difficult to interpret, or whatever they, they listen, they are looking for direct, mention of that particular words, which they're not going to do that, right? Okay. So if you're wondering how to do this, sir, right? Okay, guys, this is the hardest part, right? Okay. So there are 10 questions here. Okay. And I'm not expecting you guys to get all 10 of it, right? Okay. But at the same time, out of this 10, if you guys can get around 3 or 4, well, it's still considered good, right? Okay. But if you follow a certain strategy, you guys can get, right? Okay. Maybe you can't get the difficult words, right? Okay. But some common word that you guys normally hear, you can definitely get it, right? Okay. So what is that, right? Okay. You have to keep a piece of paper with you, right? Okay. And you see, the first time when you listen, right? For the first time when you listen, right? Okay. You follow exactly that particular, like the audio. And when you come to that particular before the blank, you see the before the blank, right? Okay. The National Association for Media Literacy was established 2 years ago to promote critical thinking about media creation. And, right? So the keyword that you should focus during when you are listening is to promote critical thinking. So when they come to that part, right? All right. Okay. Whatever word that you hear, just write it down. Just write it down, right? Just write it down. So why? Just write it down. I tell you why later. Okay. So just write it down. Okay. So just write it down. Okay. Whatever you hear, right? Whatever thing that you hear, you write it down, right? Okay. Then you move to 22, right? Okay. So you get across 200, across Malaysia, there are 200 association members who assist teachers in, right? So you focus on that, right? Okay. 200 teachers, you focus on that, right? Okay. So now I'll play the audio. Okay. You guys just do that, right? Just listen, whatever you guys just can write, you just write it down, right? Okay. Okay. And later I will tell you why I'm asking you to do that, right? Okay. So now I play the audio.
Part 4, questions 21 to 30. You will hear an organization director, Melissa, speaking about media literacy among young people. Delighted to have you with us today, Melissa. Could you tell us about your current work in media literacy?
Sure. I've been the executive director of the National Association for Media Literacy since its inception 2 years ago. Our organization helps Malaysians think critically about media production and its impact on all of us. In particular, our 200 members nationwide support the work of educators by developing media literacy modules with their input and in collaboration with experts who work in the media industry itself. This year, we have also expanded our work to counseling parents on how to raise media literate children. I've had the opportunity to connect with so many different groups. So, on a given day, I may be on the phone with an educator, another organization, Facebook, or someone in the media industry. It's a vast network that we're building.
Sounds like wonderful work. For those who do not know, how would you define media literacy?
Put simply, media literacy is the ability to access, analyze, evaluate, create, and act using all forms of communication. Becoming a literate citizen today does not only mean someone is able to read and write, but they should also be developing the critical thinking and effective communication skills which are vital for the 21st century. Media these days isn't confined to print or the television. The rise of social media not only puts information at our fingertips but also presents this information in more sophisticated and creative ways that require good judgment of true and false information. What's more is that media consumers now actively engage with content through reactions, comment, shares, and some even respond by producing their own content, which can be further circulated. Media has become a very robust entity today, so we urgently need to equip our youth with media literacy skills.
That's very interesting. Now that we know what media literacy is and why it's important, what do you think is the biggest misconception about it?
Right now, the biggest misconception about media literacy is that it's solely about determining whether something is true or false. Information is very complex, and most of it falls somewhere between these two extremes. The downside is that people don't truly understand that we're not evaluating information simply to find out if something is true or false. Instead, we need to analyze, understand, and evaluate all the details of any information. We need to understand whose perspectives are being shared in media, what potential biases they might have, who the target audience is, and what the media creators might stand to gain from sharing their content in a certain way. These questions are what we train students to ask every time they encounter news or information.
So, what conversations do you think parents should be having with their kids about media literacy?
I think most parents' goal would be to create a healthy relationship with media at home. And the best place to start would be to spend time speaking with children about the media they love. If they are avid K-pop fans, you should sit down with them and talk about the latest news in Korean entertainment. Understanding their thought process in verifying news that interests them would yield some interesting insights into how our children already possess basic media literacy skills. The next step would be to guide them to research news other than K-pop. At the National Association for Media Literacy, we've developed some comprehensive guides for parents to learn strategies such as reverse image search and geolocation identification alongside their children.
Okay, all right, guys. So, like I said, I know that is very tough, right? Okay, like I said, you see, you have to find this one word, right? Okay, and if you're wondering, right, okay, whether she mentioned all the words that is missing, yeah, of course she mentions, right? It's just that she won't mention directly where you guys have to think, right? Okay, so the reason why I asked you guys to write down, like whatever word that you guys hear, right? Okay, you know why most students normally complain saying that they did not like listen to whatever they said and they miss the particular words, right? Okay, and in the end they just ended up leaving like the blanks like empty without writing anything because they don't know what to write. Okay, so the fact that I asked you guys to write whatever you guys hear is because the first time when the first time you listen you do that, the second time Okay, you see, you guys listen and you look back at the words that you have there, right? Okay, did you have the words that they are talking about, right? If you have the word, then you can just simply fill in the blanks, right? Okay, but let's say if you do not have the words, right? Okay, and you don't even listen carefully, right? Okay, then you can choose from the words that you have written there and you can just fill in the blanks, because something is better than nothing. It's better for you to write something rather than just leave the empty space. So that's what basically I'm trying to say here, right? Okay, so well, I would like to show you guys the answer and everything, but I don't think we have enough time, because I need to do a little bit of analysis on this particular thing, right? Okay, or otherwise you won't understand, right, how to find the answer, why the answer was that, where you guys hear that answer, right? Okay, everything, it will take some time. So what we can do is we will continue this next week, right? Okay, so you'll start with this one, then after that we will move on to all the papers, right? Okay, so I just explained to you guys the first part here. The first part here, how to do this is, the first time when you listen, you just write down whatever words that you hear, right? Okay. The second part, when you listen, that's where you make the confirmation. And even though if you don't have that particular answer that you think that you should write, doesn't matter. You just choose anything from there and just fill in the blanks. That's it, right? Okay. That's how we can do this, right? Okay. But if you still want to know, how to really find the answer, there must be a way, sir, right? Yeah, of course there is a way, right? Okay. Which if you look into that, today, I don't think we will able to finish on time. So it's already like more than the time, right? Okay. So I think we will continue next week. All right. Okay. So that's it, guys. Take care. And next week, we will look into this one. We will finish this one. Then after that, we do a overall overview of all the papers, since we have done looking into all the papers. So we will focus on the difficult part, that which require more attention, right? And I also will give you some practice for you guys to just to practice, and just to see what are the problem that you guys have with this paper, any of the paper, right? Okay, that's it. Okay, thank you. And I'm sorry for taking extra, I think already like what, nearly another 20 minutes, right? Okay, so I see you guys next week. Take care. Bye bye. Stay safe. Welcome,
Thank you
welcome
for
everyone.
Mr.
Take care. Bye bye.
Kumaran. Thank you very much. Class, you until here. Thank you.
All right, welcome. Take care. Bye bye.